right, so we had a story out of Expressen, which is one of the largest tabloid evening newspapers in Sweden, where you had an article that talked about how to basically exterminate people on the right. It was written, granted, in some kind of cryptic language, more or less. It was the references was that the author Cecilia Hagen did was actually to another couple of blog posts where she compared people on the right, people who are immigrant skeptic, etc., to brown rats, and there was some actually misunderstanding about this, because when they said brown rats, people thought, oh my God, she's a racist, right? She's a horrible racist. She's talking about brown people. No, she's talking about brown shirts, right? So these are rats, and they're brown rats, and she was in the article talking about how to exterminate these rats and the bourgeoisie, and what's funny though with her is that she herself comes from a extremely wealthy family. And looks like a rat? Well, she's Jewish. She actually comes from the Bonnier family of all families, which actually owns this paper. So she's basically like the trustee today. She's a descendant of, I forget which person it was. Doesn't the Bonnier family own most of the papers in Sweden? Well, they own a lot. I mean, there's a huge, kind of media empire that they've built in Sweden and set up. And what happened is that we had one of the Bonnier, original from the Bonnier family, that actually didn't flee, but they moved gradually north, and they went up to Sweden in, I think it was like in the 1800s. They started a paper. They changed their names from, I think it was Schilling or something like that to Bonnier. I don't know why they changed their names. Why can't they keep their regular names, right? You know why. So we have a lot of people actually in Sweden that are, Jewish. They write for these papers. The media pressure is very hard on these kinds of things. So point is here that they can openly talk about extermination of those who vote for, like, moderate party, so-called the bourgeoisie. They're not really right-wing, but those who vote for the moderate party, those who vote for, the Sweden Democrats, that's probably 40-50% of the people in this day and age. So she is advocating for the extermination of almost 50% of the Swedish people. Of course. I mean, they're so close to publicly just saying, let's just build gas chambers and put all the white non-Jews in them for world peace. It's like, okay, let's try and fire up the supposed gas chambers at Auschwitz. Let's find out how those puppies really work. And let's see if we can really exterminate people. Look at her lovely face here, though, this one. And this author, the title, she's just, her books is like nonsense. She's writing about all her meetings with celebrities in this one book, and it says, always questioning, right? Isn't that one of the ideas of some of the echoing people? They're always questioning everything, right? The critique and the questioning and everything else. Well, Israel's full of what they call right-wingers. Are they talking about exterminating those right-wingers in Israel? Never. They would never do that. This actually reminds me, Lana, of the other lady. I just want to bring her up quickly. Ingrid Lundfors. She spoke out a while back too as well. She was talking about how immigration is nothing new into Sweden, that we in Sweden are all a consequence of immigration, and there isn't any local or domestic Swedish culture. And she is, of course, Jewish herself, right? And she was doing this presentation to the Swedish government talking about these things. She was educated at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem and the Hebrew College in Boston. She's even the general secretary at the Jewish synagogue in Stockholm. And she's the head for something called Forum for Living History in Sweden. So these are the people we have running the history in Sweden, the veneration for our history, right? That's why we know so much about these events. Here she is speaking at the local synagogue in Stockholm. Sweden is full of these crazy leftist Jewish women. I mean, they must be stopped. They're going to destroy Europe. They're going to destroy Sweden. Isn't it amazing that they can just go about daily business like this, Yeah, she's just talking openly about, like, we don't have any culture or anything like that. Anyway, I have to say, wait, Hagen, the other lady, her last name that's like Haagen-Dazs, right? Haagen-Dazs is actually Jewish. No. A lot of those ice cream companies are Jewish. I actually know the story behind that. That's actually made up. It's completely made up by this Jewish ice cream. Two people. Kind of like Ben and Jerry's, actually. Yeah. Same thing. I don't know if it's two people behind Haagen-Dazs, but they wanted to basically do what do you call that? You in veneration to the people that Denmark saved during the Second World War. And they wanted to make up this, like, kind of like the Swedish chef, you know, Murdy, you know, so just Häagen-Dazs. That sounds Danish. Let's go with that. That's actually the story behind it. Did you know that?
Oh boy, I didn't know that. I just know all those ice cream companies are Jewish.
Yeah, for some reason, Ben & Jerry's, Häagen-Dazs. There's others. I can't even think of them right now. But, you know, there's only, as you said, there's only one place where we can put Cecilia Hagen.